That don't help, does it? That just sums everything up. What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I'm, of course, Jimmy. This is the Blades Ramble. This is 90 after 90. We are sponsored by Action Coach Sheffield and VNB Autos. Thank you to them for their continued support of this channel. And I'm fed up. I'm fed up. We're losing all the time. End the season. Call it there. We wave the white flag. I can't. What else? What else? And people may notice this. Please don't judge me for this. My daughter made me this, so I'm wearing it. Thanks, Ems. Very much appreciated. Yeah, it's poor, innit? We're not good enough. We're not good enough. I've just put an advert out on Twitter to let people know that we're live, and that's what I put. I think I've titled it Damn and Blast, which were Dam's Gaard, who made the shot and blast their own goal. Obviously, I don't know whether anybody picked up on that, but yeah, it's just gutted, innit? It's just gutted how this season's gone. What I will say is, look, we've got what, 3 points from the last 5 games, and up until that second, I thought we were really poor second half. I thought first half we were okay, but second half we were really poor. I can't shake it. I can't shake this mood. So I'm relying on you guys to pick me up, hopefully. I don't think Trusty's good enough. The thing we have to try and, or I have to certainly try and convince myself, I don't want to dig too many players out, particularly the players that are going to be here next year, like Trusty. So it's all right me saying Trusty's not good enough. But there's a difference between being good enough in the Premier League and being good enough in the Championship. That's just a fact. We're in the Premier League currently. We're proving that a lot of our squad are not up to the level, despite a positive change in attitude. I think if Chris Wilder's here from the start of the season, we're not in quite the mess that we're in. I'm not saying we won't get relegated, because I don't think the quality is there in the squad. But at least we're showing a bit of a competitive edge with Wilder in charge. And that's, you know, you may take that as a slight against Decky. I have nothing against Decky. He got us up when we needed to get up. But I think Wilder just gives us that a little bit extra. And I completely trust him to do the rebuild. There's no doubt in my mind about it. But we now have to switch focus, and I have to keep reminding myself of this. If Trusty's going to, for example, and I don't mean to pull Trusty out, but it's just because he's annoyed me for that second goal, because he's come inside, left his man behind him, and it's just straightforward stuff. Oh, but we might get away with that in Championship, and that's not how you should be thinking. Trusty might be an above-average Championship player and a poor Premier League player. That is the size of the gap. So while we don't want him in our squad or in our team, I don't want to be too harsh, if we are to return to the Premier League in just over 12 months' time, call it 18 months' time, we might not want him as a starter unless he improves significantly, like Jack Robinson's done as well. So there are redemption arcs for some of these players. But we might need him. We might need him to be part of the squad that gets us out of the Championship, because he's good enough to do that, potentially. So I'm trying not to let my emotional head rule and sort of come on and say, McBurney can go for me. Because last week I was saying we're a good game. So there's no point me being too trigger happy with what I'm saying. But it's emotional. And I'm not, you know me by now, I'm not one of these that will come on and just give you well, what do you guys think? Because I could go either way on this. If that's my genuine thoughts, then I'll say it. But I want to give you my opinion. And I'm frustrated. I can't say anything other. It's crap being the worst team in the league. And that's what we are. Whether we think we could beat Burnley at home next week or not, which we could, we are statistically the worst team in the league, largely due to injuries, largely due to a confidence crisis, partly due to tactics. But let's be right, the levels of quality. If you were, I'm a big believer that confidence can take you such a long way, and it can lift players well above the station. But the start we had no chance of getting back on that, or even getting any momentum to start us off. So, yeah, I feel for Ollie Arblaster. I think, you know, we all want him to do well. I've raved about him here. What I don't want to see is people digging him out. And that may be hypocritical, because if it had been Sousa that the ball had deflected off and gone in, then we might all be going crazy. I saw some on our chat, I think. Apologies if I'm wrong, but there was so much flying about on Twitter and in chat. I think some were blaming Gerbic should have got down to it. You can't blame Gerbich for that. For me, again, we're open to opinions. This is 90 after 90. You've got the opportunity to call in and have your say tonight. We don't have to go 90 minutes. We'll go up to 90 minutes, and I'll try and keep it under if we can. If you want to join us, you click the link in the comments. It's the top pinned comment, and we'll have you on and we'll have a chat about it. But I'll jump into some comments before I welcome our first caller. Smudge, good evening, pal. Hi, Jimmy. Got to say how big a miss Robbo was. Larouci shouldn't have come off, and Maka had no impact. Gerbich is the worst keeper I've seen in a while. Get Wes back in. Only positive with the fans. We say it every time, don't we? Every time we see an away game, the fans are the first main positive, because our away support is absolutely superb, and we put them up there with the best in any league. So, fair play to the fans that have travelled down again today, knowing really that we're on hiding to nothing in terms of this season. It's not necessarily a glamour thing that they've gone down, because you can understand it if they're going down to Stamford Bridge for day out or anything. But we're likely not going to be here next season in this league. We might not be back for a season or two. And people are going to Brentford on something that we're not necessarily going to make a difference to our season. And that's very defeatist to say, but ultimately it's true. Fair play to the away fans. Always make a great noise. Always represent the club fantastically well. As I said, I'm guilty of being one of the home supporters that doesn't always generate the atmosphere that we should be doing at home. And I'm hoping that with a turn in fortunes next season and a galvanised squad with a few fresh faces, that we can start to get Bramall Lane back to that fortress that we all remember. In terms of your comment here, Smudge, a big miss, Robbo. Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I thought Anel looked well today, but then in parts, like where he tried that sloppy pass where it let Morpay through. It were intercepted by Mbeumo, I think, or Wissa, and it's let Morpay. And I just think you let yourself down by sloppy errors. Just so nonchalant. Larouci shouldn't have come off. I thought Larouci did okay, to be fair. I think I saw a lot of people raving about him, commentators on the stream that I got, which wasn't great, by the way. So it were intermittent. I didn't get to see the full game start to finish. That'll change next season, just a slight tangent. Now that Sky have got all the EFL fixtures, and let's be right, that's where we'll be playing, I'll be able to do a watch-along for all the away games next season. I say all. I've still got to get that past Mrs. Ramble, but that's the plan at the moment. So for those of you that have been asking for watch-alongs, there'll be plenty next season to look forward to. Maka had no impact. I think Maka is looking like a player with his head down at the minute, and it's a mental challenge for somebody like James McAtee, a young player who's probably sees himself as the best, if not one of the best players in the squad in terms of natural talent, because he is, and he's not getting in. And I don't know whether that's because Wilder sees him as a bit of a luxury player, which I would agree with, whether it's because he's not in the plans for next season. So I wouldn't lean towards that. Some give that merit, but I wouldn't lean towards that, because I think he's very much a here and now manager, is Wilder. And I think if he thought McAtee could be the difference today, he'd have started. He might just think he's a better option from the bench. But is McAtee, playing with his head held high? I don't think he is. And again, I think he's suffering from lack of confidence at the minute. And Gerbich, another unconvincing performance. I'm not one for saying get Wes back in, particularly if he's not going to sign a contract. But yeah, goalkeeper is somewhere that's increasingly looking more and more like we need to seriously strengthen. Sam says we weren't good enough in the second half. Our set pieces weren't good enough. No, I heard positive signs reported in the local media this week that Wilder's considering the appointment of a set piece coach. Long overdue in my bucket. One of the 5 things I think we said that we'd like to see in the improvements to Sheffield United, sort of rebuilding Sheffield United. Can't remember how we coined that ramble, but set piece coach was quite high on the agenda, because you find margins like that, particularly in the Premier League, can be the difference. And if we squeak out the odd goal from a set piece in these tight games, which it was for an hour today, we're a tight game. If we'd nudged ourselves in front with a smart set piece, it could be a different game altogether. Jimmy, who do you think we're playing better? Do you think we're playing better under Wilder, or do you think we did better under Heckingbottom? I think that's. I make no secret of the fact that I'm openly biased. And by that, I mean, I'm not blinded to what Eki did for us. And I'm not blinded by Wilder's faults. But I can't honestly come on here and try and pretend, nor would I ever, that I don't favour Chris Wilder being in charge to Heckingbottom. I just think I say things like he gets the club, which a lot of people sort of dismiss as, well, that shouldn't even come into it. I think when we're at the stage we're at, where we were broken, a little bit broken when he came in, I think it does come into it. I think someone understanding what the club is all about and how to tie us all back together again, I think is really important. So that's not the only reason I prefer Wilder. It's not because he's a blade, although that adds some extra sauce to why I like him. I just think he's the right man for the job, and I think Eki is a very intelligent man. He's a very statistical, analytical man. He'll study the data and get the medical reports and go on percentages. I just think there's a lot more to football than just numbers, personally. And I'm not saying Eki doesn't go with his gut at times, but we know that Wilder does. Poor Arblaster, not his fault for the second goal, though. No, it was on the second one, he was the only one chasing back, weren't he? When Trusty had left his man, Arblaster was the one trying to cover him, because he gives everything, doesn't he? And, and that, I'm going to say a nice test for Arblaster. I don't mean that it's certainly not a nice test, but it's an interesting sort of twist. He's had nothing but praise so far. He's been seen as like a shining light in not a poor team, but a poor period for the club. And it'll be really interesting to see how he bounces back from this setback. And I think he will. And I think it makes you stronger, doesn't it? We need to start from scratch next season, says Sam. Well, I don't think we've got much choice with the amount of players out of contract. Zero threat, zero composure. Archer, just a poor display. He didn't look good, did he, Scott? I can't say any other. Everybody knows I'm a big fan and backer of Archer. He didn't look it today. And, I still would love to see him in our side in the Championship. It's not going to happen. But I still think this lad will go on to have a really good career. And it's just a shame it's not worked out for him, for whatever reason. Once we played for a few weeks has been, that's us down now. Yeah, never thought I'd say it, but Larouci shouldn't have come off. Should have come off, created nothing. Gerbic is a bomb scare. Oh, yeah, you've gone shouldn't have come off. Yeah, it's neither here nor there for me, really. I can see why Ozzy gets the nod to stay on because of his consistency recently. I didn't think he did much today, if I'm honest. But he's gone on, he's seen as a safer bet, I think, into at left wing back. I don't mind Ozzy at left wing back. I was just surprised. I'd like to have seen Andre Brooks on today. Just disappointing, really. McAtee's been shocking, says Sligo Blade. All Trusty's fault. Get him out. Deary me. Taking Larouci off, changed it for us. Have a look at McAtee trying to get back for the first goal. He'd just come on. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? How many of us thought at this stage of the season would be, or a lot of you would be, defending Larouci and not slating McAtee, but saying, I can't believe we've put in a worse performance with James McAtee on the pitch than Larouci. Dino, good evening, pal. First fair dues, bad luck. Second defence was awful. Larouci had a good game. Sorry to the hate crew, but he was. Gerbic ain't the answering goal. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Thank you, Dino. Watching from Eyemouth. I bet I'm the only one. Up the Blades. I bet you are, pal. I bet you are. Our passing today was awful. Do you think we'll be spending money on signings or targeting frees? I think we'll have a little bit. Well, the budget will be healthy, but it's not like this is how much you've got on transfers. This is how much you've got on wages. It's a collective pot, and you decide what you spend where. So I think we'll be competitive, but don't be expecting to see huge outlays of millions of pounds, because I don't think anybody will do that. There's just not the money in the game at the minute. You saw that by January transfer window. Trusty is pish, says Sligo Blade. Fair dues. That shot cross from Archer towards the end where it went out for a throw summed our game up. He's been way too selfish all season, says Jim Bob. And poor Arblaster seemed to be the only one who was putting an effort and wanted us to score and did the opposite of what he wanted. Yeah, I know, pal. It happens, doesn't it? It happens. I'm going to bring in our first caller now. The man Mountain himself. How's it going, pal?
Afternoon, how are you? All right.
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. How are you?
Well, that game hasn't helped me out at all, to be frank. I think the term going through the motions is can be used.
Absolutely.
Today, I don't think Brentford have done anything to win this game of footy. That I think for them to go into a comfy little 2-0 at the end there,
Yeah.
I don't think they've done anything at all to win that match. And they haven't won for a while, have they? They haven't won since February, they were saying. And they didn't look like they were going to win.
No,
I
they
think
didn't.
again, it were the goal and the defending for both goals is just amateur hour. For him to travel all that way with that ball, he didn't want to score. He didn't want to shoot. He was trying to square the ball. But he must have travelled 25, 30 yards with the ball, and no one's even engaged him. And again, Arbas is the one trying to get back in. McAtee's running in quicksand in the middle. He looks like Peter Kay, where the dad's running in the car park.
Yeah, do that.
Honestly, McAtee, like you say, I'm obviously a bit of a confidence player, but I mean, I just thought our intent around the box was non-existent today. We didn't look like we wanted to score. Diaz did really well. He's a yard quicker than I thought he was when he ran away from the defender, because I was a bit surprised. I thought he'd try and check and slow it down again. But I mean, to shank that shot with his left foot, and then to the one later on when the Heiner clips in a really nice ball around the back to go it with your wrong foot. A couple of moments there where his qualities really let himself down a little bit there, because I'd have backed him when he goes past the defender and it's clear the defender's not going to get the recovery tackle in.
Yeah, you're up, aren't you? You're up, you're ready, because he's the one that you'd want to have the ball at his feet at that opportunity.
Yeah. So yeah, I think they've just been given 3 points today, and I don't think they've done nearly enough to win a game. Damsgaard with the only bit of quality in the entire match for me was the volley that he scores. And after that, I mean, we're just going through the motions in attack. The lack of urgency was.
We looked like a relegated side, didn't we, mate? We looked like we were already down. There wasn't much to play for. On the beach a little bit. Let's just get it over and done with. Kill us off.
The thing about a lot of these lads that are in there now, that performance were abject. It wasn't good enough today. Not enough urgency, not enough energy at all. But most of them, they all should be playing for something. There's 2 or 3 of them who think that they're going to be Premier League players next year. There's loads of them trying to play for contracts or not in certain scenarios where they just don't want a contract. They don't like they want to play for our club.
Yeah.
And they've all got something to play for, because they're all footballers playing for the futures. I thought Holgate did himself a favour today. I thought he's been fairly solid. I mean, but the 2 clowns either side, like Anel and Trusty, man. For Anel,
I thought Anel started out all right. And then there were just a couple of moments where you think,
have you seen him for that second goal?
Better than he is, doesn't he? That's the thing. He thinks, he's been in Liga and he's sort of done really well in Championship. This is a different level. You've got to be on your game here, or you're going to get caught out. And these sloppy passes.
That second goal as well, mate.
I know.
Second goal, he's almost invisible. He's like, he just stands there and watches it all happen. The ball goes past him. He's not picked anyone up. He's not covering anybody behind him. Them 2.
Do you think we might struggle to get what we want for Anel due to his performances this season?
Well, I mean, again, he has moments, doesn't he, where he carries the ball forward, and we think he's this ball playing centre half. But his basic defending isn't up to scratch. It's not as good as it was last year. The levels found him out a little bit, in my opinion. I'd be shocked if someone big in Serie A came for him with 15 million in their hands. Looking at what he's doing now, I find that shocking. I think Sousa. I don't know what Sousa. I mean, I dug him out last time I was on here. I don't know. I can't think why Brooks hadn't come on today. He needed someone with a bit of energy to change it up. I thought he could have come on the pitch. I don't know whether he's just not training very well or if Wilder's just gone off him. I don't know why Curtis is on the bench. If Bogle limps off injured,
I thought same. Great. We're going to get to see Sam Curtis because if Bogle's injured for Burnley, then at least Curtis has had half an hour.
Yeah. Come on, mate. Come on and make your debut. Break your duck. Get those nerves out of the way, ready for the next match. I don't know what he's going to do at right back next match. He seems reluctant to put him in there. And when Archie came on, it all looked a bit disjointed. To be frank, we didn't seem to, even though we were only 1 goal behind, and you'd expect a little bit of urgency and get some bombs into the box and do a few bits. I just didn't think I thought we were going through the motions. Almost waiting for the second goal to go in. Almost just like I thought it was abject today. We looked like a side who'd had enough. And
it's a signal, isn't it, mate? No cutting edge, no nothing really. I thought McBurney were absent. I was convinced him we were going to get that booking that gave his 2-game suspension. He didn't get it, did he? I didn't miss a Hamer booking today. I think
he was trying. He was chipping away at the ref.
Oh God, yeah, he was. He got away with 2, didn't he? And then I thought, anyway.
Yeah, he tried on Matey's foot, didn't he? And I think he kind of got away with that. There was an odd one where they were checking for a red card, and the referee hadn't even give a yellow, and it was like,
weird that. Yeah, I could hear that.
So no yellow, but maybe red. It's like bloody hell, sort it out. But now I just again, it's demoralising. We got to keep smiling, Jimmy, because I don't see the next 7 games. We're still, some of us, the more optimistic, are still thinking, if we beat Brentford, we beat Burnley. We just got to go out. We've got to go out like we have done the last 3 or 4 matches. It wasn't terrible today, but we just didn't show any intent. We just didn't look like a side who wanted to win that game of footy. Because trust me, it was there for the taking. Brentford did nothing, absolutely nothing. So yeah, I think that's it, mate. Just keep smiling and think about the garage. Think about next season when we're going to win some football matches and
it'll be a better season next year. Obviously, we're going to be in an inferior league, but hopefully with an.
I'm looking forward to it, mate. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, next season, summer holidays, get next season on the way. We'll be all right.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Are you at Burnley next week?
I'm not. I'm not. I'm not there next week. I'm missing it. I'm going to be obviously there for Spurs as well, but I might try and get another one in, but we'll see.
Okay, mate. No worries. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us, setting us off tonight. Very much appreciated.
Cheers. Well, yeah, and just one more thing. What you said about the fans. They're always doing us proud. The noise. The noise today was quality. Even when we went to and we were 1-0 down, chasing the game, all I could hear were blades. So big up to the away fans. Massive time. Brilliant today.
They're a credit to the club, aren't
they? Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Cheers, buddy. Speak to you soon.
See you later. Ciao.
Bye, mate. Hey. Nice one to the Man Mountain for starting us off. I've also got Billy backstage. Bill, can't see you, mate. I don't know if that's by design. How are you doing?
Hey, mate, you all right?
Yes, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad.
What do you think to that today?
Yeah, I didn't think it. I don't know. I mean, I didn't think it was that bad, and then there seems to be quite a few abject, poor performance in the chat and on Twitter. That kind of stuff comes out, doesn't it? I didn't think it was that bad. They defended well for 90 minutes, and we made 2 defensive errors, and that's the difference, isn't it? I mean, we're 2 poor teams. I mean, they're not a good team.
No, they're not.
For that division. I think they'll come down next season, especially if Tony's leaving. So I don't think they're good.
The manager might leave as well, who's highly rated.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't think they're too good for the standard anyway. But that being said, I think the major difference is just to switch off defensively twice. You get punished for it, and apart from that, I don't think there was too much between us really.
I agree, but it sticks in my craw because you look at this season and how, like you said, Brentford are poor. And they're 6th from bottom, if not 5th from bottom, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
If we are going to look back on this season as a huge missed opportunity because it's going to be, without doubt, the lowest record points to save you from getting relegated. And there'll be so many teams kicking themselves. Us, obviously, we've made the worst fist of it out of everybody. But like Luton Town, I think Luton will go down, and they'll be like, we were so close. A best chance ever to survive in
Yeah.
the Premier League. And
Yeah.
even if it isn't Luton, hopefully it's Forest. But, you know,
well,
whoever-
fingers crossed, yeah. No, I agree with you. It's in hindsight, it will have been a golden opportunity, won't it? So in that sense, it'll be gutting to go down. I guess the other thing is, I suppose the good thing is we don't have VAR anymore and all that sort of stuff. But
very true, very true.
But then we'll be busting the gut to come back, won't we? So
yeah, give me some positives from today, Bill. Give me some positives.
Yeah, I thought it was all right though. I thought, you know, the midfield looks way better with Blaster in there.
Yeah, it does.
Really running it, and it looks to me like him being in there has allowed Hamer to be. He looks so much more natural with Blaster alongside him.
Yeah, he does. He's got a bit more license to be free and to.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, exactly. I think he just looks so much more natural. Than that. There's a little partnership there. I think developing. What else was good? I mean, sorry, go on.
Would you have chucked Brooks in alongside him today?
Yeah.
Or do you think, I can see why he doesn't, because it's somebody mentioned this on Twitter, and it's probably right. You don't want to have two young lads in the middle in the Premier League, because if they get overrun, then it can obviously set you back. But if they're going to be R3 next season, which I think we're hoping they are, then surely you want to get a bit of chemistry and a bit of something going with them.
That's the thing on Brooks. When he came in, I was fairly certain that he'd stick with him. But now that he's taking him out for what feels like quite a long chunk of quite a long run of games now, isn't it? Really, I'm not so convinced anymore that he will be starting him week in, week out next season. I think he'll be in the squad, but I think he'll be rotating him in and out if he's using him.
It's weird because he's coming under Eki, done a great job. One of the hats off to Eki for including him, because he gave him his chance and he took his chance. Linked with Man United, a £50 million move before he signed his contract. It's something ridiculous. We're never going to be them sort of figures, but this is all paper talk. But linked to Man United because there's that much potential in the lad. And then I could understand it more if he'd had a couple of bad performances. I don't think he did really.
I don't think you could say they were bad, did it? At most, you could say he looked a little lost, maybe at times. But I don't think that for what he did show in those games as well, I don't think that is deserving of being totally sort of left out for as long as he has been. So I'm not sure on that one anymore. I mean, the good news is that it looks like he's put Blaster in, and it looks like, I will say this, I think Blaster's taken his chance even more so than Brooks did.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
So there's that's the silver lining to the whole thing, I suppose. But it will be interesting to see what he does with Brooks now, because I'm not so sure. I was at the time, but I'm not so sure anymore that he'll be the starting midfielder for us next season.
No, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, Blaster's lifted performances around him. He's sort
100%,
of everybody's come up and sort of, they're keen to give him the ball and not just trust him with the ball. They want to find him and know that he can make something happen. So he's already cemented himself as a really key player for us going forward.
Yeah,
and hopefully
100%.
But
I mean, everything. Well, not everything, but I suppose the majority of stuff today, if it's not going through Hamer, it's going through Blaster, isn't it? And what he is really good at is he's good at picking up that ball in the little half spaces, turning and playing it out the other side, and he just gets us moving so quickly. Whereas before, especially, this is the problem with someone like Sousa, is that he's not able to take it and move the ball that quickly. And
I know, how is he not able to do that though? That's what we've bought him for.
That's where I'm scratching. I like Sousa as well, but that's where I'm scratching my head.
I know, mate.
I'm not sure why they bought him if he's not able to be a bit quicker with it. But maybe it's just the level. Maybe he's just not a Premier League player. Maybe that's it. I'm confused about Sousa increasingly.
I don't think he'll be in next season, to be honest. I think
no, I don't. I said in the chat, didn't I? I think like the fact that he's not playing him now and he's picking Osborne of all people to start over him. Not that's nothing against Ben. I think Osborne did great today. Well, not great, but I think he had an all right game today.
Yeah, we're okay.
He were all right, yeah. But the fact that he's starting him ahead of Sousa, I think that's final nail.
Speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Speaks volumes.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be in next season either. But the trouble we've got now is like you've got to make your money back on him, man. You can't sell him for a loss. I'd rather keep him than sell him for a loss. Surely.
Yeah, but if we need that money to reinvest in the squad, then you might have to take a couple of mil loss on him, haven't you?
I guess so. I guess the question then is like it depends obviously what can you get for the money and does Wilder think that's a better player to have than to have Sousa sat on your bench? I don't know. Tricky that one.
It is, mate. It is. What do you think to before I let you go, mate? What do you think to Trusty today?
Oh, yeah. I don't
Sorry
know.
to end on a negative.
No, I know, but again, he's another one of them where, like, I feel like he's done all right for like 70 minutes.
I know.
I feel 80 minutes even. I feel like he's done all right, and then right at the end, lets himself down with that second goal. It's absolutely shocking defending. Really, like Sunday League stuff. It's terrible. Really lets himself down with that, and also like someone said it last week. I can't remember. It might have been Dave Leary. Can't remember, but someone said it that he looks like he's got the tools. Like he looks strong. He looks he looks like a centre back in terms of like what he can do.
Yeah,
but he doesn't look like he can read the game at all. He looks so like, oh, I'll go here and then I'll go there and then. Do you know what I mean? I feel like he ball watches a lot.
Yeah, I think same
like
way. Bogle does that for me as well, and it's frustrating. But I agree. I think Trusty does the same. And as a centre half, it's essential that you can read the game. Obviously, it's going to help you with every position that you play. Yeah. But as a centre half, it's crucial that you know where your man's going to go, or you think you know where your man's going to go. You think you know where ball's coming, so you can set yourself.
Yeah,
you know where your partner is.
I tell you what, I think that's why we massively missed Robbo today, because I think. The times Trusty's looked at his best is when he's got someone like shouting at him, basically. Yeah. All throughout the game. And I think last week, Robbo did that, which is probably why you could say all season, like why we've missed Egan so much. Is I
was just going to come on to this. I
don't think we've had anyone in that back line who's organised it or.
That's it. We've said it a few times, haven't we? Both in the chat and on the Ramble, and we miss leaders in our team, and it's daft that a 19-year-old kid's come on and show more leadership on the pitch than anybody else, really. So yeah, frightening, mate. Anything else you want to go over?
Well, I was just going to say, I think we said, didn't we? I think Holgate. I think that might actually be a good signing if we can do that. Because I think apart from that red card, he's looked all right.
I think he's looked really good. Really good. A solid addition to the back line. I don't think, again, I'm not saying he's a superstar. I'm not saying he's a Premier League player per se, but for us next season, certainly, as a right centre-back in the Championship, I think he'll be really solid. If we can get him back, I know that's something that we're thinking about, we're looking at, we're assessing our options, particularly if Anel goes. Holgate next to John Egan and Jack Robinson alongside him. It sounds quite comfortable, doesn't it?
It's a proper Wilder defence as well.
It is. Yeah, it is.
It's a proper Blaze defence.
It's different to what we're used to because there'll be no overlapping from Robbo or Holgate, really. But, they're not going to get up and down like Bash and Jock did. But it's a solid, tough three at the back, I think. That
it's intimidating is what it is, I think, that in terms of like the personnel, because there's not going to be many strikers in Championship who look at that and think, I fancy my chances like out muscling them three. Yeah, that's right. So in that sense, at least, it's a good thing. Whether it even happens or not, I don't know, because obviously Holgate's not our player. But we'll have to wait and see.
I think he's if we can obviously need a deal with Everton where we end up paying half his wages, or it comes on a free, or whatever we need to do to get him. But I think he'd be a smart signing for us in Championship, particularly because we get 5 loans, whereas we only get 2 this year. So, good stuff. Anything else you want to go over, mate, before I let you go?
No, I'll let you get off, mate. That's
nice one, buddy. Well, thank you for calling in. Nice to speak to you as always.
Yeah, you too, mate.
Are you at Burnley?
I might be. Yeah, I've not got a ticket yet, but I might be.
Okay, buddy. Might see you there then.
Yeah. See you later, man.
Okay, mate. See you soon. Cheers. Hey, I've just at wrong bit. Up the Ramble. Top man. Cheers, Billy. Thank you for calling in. I'm going to jump back into some comments because I don't like to get too far behind. Cam, I've spotted you. if it's the cam that I'm thinking, I know you're from Oz, so I won't leave you too long, but it's saying your devices aren't connected at the minute. So I know you've been in and out. I don't want you to be sort of dropping out of connection if, anyway, we'll crack on. I thought we did okay, says Andrew. Glaring skill levels from some. 10 minutes in, Osborne just stood like a statue. We're far better under Wilder. Let's build again. Say Tara for some. I thought it's Tara. I'm thinking of Tara Bourne then, but I don't know why. Say Tara for some. Well, I do know why. Left side of our team. Yeah, it needs work, doesn't it? Scott, players look defeated and look like they've given up. Says a lot when Macca and Sousa on the bench knowing they won't be here next season. Yeah, I think that's fair. Would have played way better if Robbo played. I don't think he's Robbo back. Is Robbo back for Burnley? Says William. I don't know because I think Wilder certainly played the injury down. I think looking, you know that with certain players, it happened with Bash. Obviously, Bashers were horrendous. But when John Egan goes down and stays down, you know it's serious. When Jack Robinson goes down and stays down, you know it's serious. It's not like Vinny Sousa, who goes down and then, holds his back and gets up and is fine 2 minutes later. We knew that Robinson were injured, and that usually means it's something serious. I don't mean to scaremonger with that. I'm not saying he'll definitely be out till end of season, but it wouldn't surprise me if he misses next week, because rolling your ankle and swelling and stuff like that can be a nasty job, really. Why did all the players seem green crackered? Chasing the ball. That's what it does, isn't it? It's been a long season, unfortunately. Lee, good evening, pal. Competitive first half and in the game, but a disappointing second half display. Irritates me how easily we give possession away. Get Brooks in and get the midfield set for next season. Brooks, Ollie and Hamer. Yes, please. Give me some of that. How can anyone blame the keeper for any of the goals? Don't know. I'm not blaming him for a goal. I don't think he looks convincing. What I want to sort of stress is I don't think he was at fault for the goals today, particularly. So I can't really add a lot of merit to why I'm saying it. It's just, when you get a bit of a sixth sense about, I'm not sure about this guy. He don't fill me with a lot of confidence. And I don't know whether he's giving off those vibes to our defence as well. Connor, good evening, pal. It's just really disappointing when we played so well against Chelsea and today we just seemed lost throughout the game. I bet Mark Hudson is loving this, but nevertheless, up the blades. Good evening, Pete. Hi, Jimmy. Do you think the players' contract situation is affecting their performance? I still think a lot of them aren't giving 100%. What do you think, pal? Yeah, potentially. I'm not saying it's definitely the reason. I don't want to give them excuses. I think majority of them just aren't good enough. And again, I don't want to browbeat them for that because they will be good enough in the Championship, some of them. We saw Ollie McBurney score. What did he score? 16 goals or something for his last season. Me and my dad will argue that Illiman and Dye took 3 or 4 players, which freed up McBurney to go and get those goals. But the levels are so different, so different. So those that look quite poor in the Premier League, as we've said before, will look all right. I think someone like Mason Holgate, if we sign him, for example, I think will be a really good player in the Championship. And Nell has stepped up to the level, looked poor for most of the season. The contract situation, we've heard that we're negotiating with Ozzy. McBurney, I think, earned his place in the starting lineup today because he's played okay against Chelsea, played better the game before. I thought he was largely absent today, but you play him, don't you? We know that Archer's not going to be here next season anyway, so it's Archer or McBurney. You might as well try and play, we're trying to keep McBurney. So I can understand why McBurney played. Is there anybody else out of contract? Bogle, but I understand, or it's widely thought that Bogle's got a 1-year extension that we can activate. So that's not really crucial. Anel won't be here next season. I'm convinced of it. We might not get what we want for him and he may stay, but he's just changed agencies. I think he's actively looking for a move elsewhere. Good luck to him. And, I don't wish him any ill. We'll do well out of that deal. So I can't say massively that contracts are having a say in this. I would be much more comfortable if we'd settled everybody and knew who were going to be here next season. George Baldock, them sort of players. But again, he's still not fit, is he? So is it a smart thing, even though he's a great player, to offer him a deal when we're going to have to be really careful with purse strings and who we offer big contracts to? Sorry, I haven't really answered it, Pete, but I think you could go either way, to be honest. Hi, Jimmy. I think we can't blame anyone player for today or other games past. We'll be back stronger and wiser and smarter. Love that, Andy. Up the blades, up the ramble. Top man. Hi, Jimmy. What isn't good enough about this team? The players, the coaches, or the manager's tactics? Now, is that bait for me to jump on my Wilder shield and defend him to the hilt? I won't do that. I think the players aren't good enough for the level, or most of the players aren't good enough for the level. That can be skewed when you're playing in a confident team. So if you pick Gus Hamer out of this team, for example, and drop him into Fulham or Brentford or somebody like that, Brighton even, he would look good playing with better players and he'd be more confident and you'd see a lot of the more positive aspects of his game. James McAtee, I don't think he'll play for Man City, but he may stay in the Premier League with a Brentford or somebody like that next season and he might look good. They're playing at the moment in a team devoid of confidence, bottom of the league. We've got 16 points, useless points tally, going down undoubtedly. What's left to play for? I think the manager's tactics, I don't know about the coaches. People speak highly of the coaches, the players, etc. But that's one thing, having a good relationship with them. It's another getting a performance out of them. So you could potentially argue that that's something to look at as well. So I don't know the answer to that, is in all honesty, because I don't know how well they do their job. The manager's tactics, we can all be an armchair quarterback, as they call them, don't they? And sort of look from the outside in, what would we do? Wilder knows the game 100 times better than I do. I know I've worked in the game, but that doesn't make me any more qualified than anybody else. All I've got is an opinion like yourself and like everybody else. You might not have played Larouci today, but Wilder did. I might not. I didn't want to play Larouci today. Turns out he played all right. So who's right, who's wrong? Brooks could have gone in instead of Larouci. Ozzy starts at left wing back, and Brooks might have had a stinker. They might have been overrun in midfield because, holding on to the ball too long, a bit of an experience. Who knows? He's the manager and I trust him. Doesn't mean you can't criticise him. I think earlier in the season, I've criticised him for when he's the subs that he's brought on. Not because he's had to bring the subs on, because I think that's a situation he's been forced into. But the players he brought on, like Ollie Norwood and things like that, where you think, there's Andre Brooks sitting right there. And it don't have to just be Brooks. Today confused me. I know we were going for it by taking a wing back off and putting a striker on, so we went to 4 at the back when Bogle got injured. But I'd have liked to have seen Sam Curtis. We play best at 3-5-2, and that's how we've been getting our results and sort of catching teams. I know we want to be able to be flexible with the formation, but I would like to have seen Sam Curtis come in. And then, like I was saying to Man Mountain, if Bogle's out for the Burnley game, Sam Curtis isn't making his home debut in front of 30,000. He's already, without any sort of previous experience for the Blades, he's already come on and sort of experienced a little bit of first team football. So I think it's a little bit of everything. The only thing that we can be sure of is the players aren't good enough. But having said that, they can raise the levels when needed on certain occasions. So Lee says, let's hope Gerbic, Trusty, Slimani, Traore, Koulibaly and Asula are good enough for the Championship, or we're going to be in a big mess. I don't know. Just looking at those players, Lee, I don't necessarily think Gerbic, I always do this because I'm useless with tech, but they sometimes puts thumbs up on my thing. I don't know whether Gerbic will be our number one. I would like to think he won't, if I'm honest. And that's a little bit harsh from me, and I know people have been a lot harsher. Trusty, I don't think gets in our starting 11 if Robinson's fit, if Egan resigns, and if we get Holgate. I think Trusty's the odd man out there. Slimani will be a squad player at best. Traore may do a domestic loan this time, maybe in League One, just to see how he gets on. Is he a striker? Is he a right winger? Is he a right forward? Excuse me, I'm not sure. Koulibaly, I think we'll let go. And Asula will likely be in and around the squad, but very much an unknown quantity. So, yeah, you're right. There's a lot to think about. So, yes, I can see you all. I'm just seeing some comments. I'm going to invite our way up. They'll need to connect. Cam, it's saying to me, you need to connect your mic and camera before I can add you to the stream. So I can't invite you in yet, mate. I'm going to invite Ollie in first. You okay,
All
pal?
right.
How's it going?
I'm all right, thank you. Ian.
Yes, I'm okay, mate. Thank you. I'm okay. One of these days, you're going to do the big face reveal, aren't you? I'm confident of it.
Oh, but at final game of the season, if we beat Tottenham, I'll do it.
If we beat Tottenham,
Yes.
all right, okay. Well, if we beat Man City, yeah, maybe
Yeah,
you might show
yeah.
your face. I get that, mate. That's no problem. So, what did you think to today, bud?
It were all right. Oh, sorry, Bournemouth have just scored against Man U.
Good, good. That's always good to see.
Sorry, back onto Sheffield. I think we were punished because we didn't take our chances early doors. We had a few all right chances, but we didn't take them. And in the Premier League, you've got to take everything.
Yeah,
I think there were
that's right.
3 players who stood out for me today, which were Mason Holgate, I'd say Ben Osborne, and who else did I say?
Blaster, maybe.
Yeah, Ollie Blaster. I think that'll hurt him as well, scoring own goal.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, isn't it? But I mean,
Yeah,
you can't. I mean, I'm trying to be as open as I can be and trying not to be biased because I've already sort of gone on record and said I love Ollie Blaster. I think he's great.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be the future of this club. But
Yeah.
if it were another player, if it's Larouci chasing back and it deflects off Larouci, am I playing L with Larouci? Because that'd be unfair then for me to say, it's tough on Blaster. But I think he's got enough credit in the bank. I know he's not played that many games, but just the effort levels he puts in for us to be able to say that's unlucky. So I'm going with that. I'm sticking with it.
Well, I've got a question for you about next week and Burnley.
Go for it, mate.
Who would you play in the back line? Whether it's a back 4 or 5, who would you play? Say Bogle's out injured. Who would you play?
That's tricky, but is Robinson fit?
I think he will be.
Okay. This is controversial, and I don't know. I'd love to see Sam Curtis, but if I'm being honest, because he hasn't put him on today, if I'm Wilder, my defence is a back 3 with 2 wing backs.
Right.
I think we play better with a back 3. I think we've been built for a back 3. And I'm playing Anel, Robinson and Trusty as my back 3. And I've got Holgate and Ozzy as my left and right wing backs.
Yeah. That's
what that's, it's conservative really because Holgate's not going to get up and down. It's not ideal, but obviously we've got us 2 best right wing backs out. If he wanted to go that way and take Trusty out and move everybody across, Robbo left centre half, and Elliot middle, Holgate right centre back, and Sam Curtis at right wing back, I wouldn't be upset either. So, but it's a huge game to make your debut in that. Not that there's, let's be right, not that there's loads riding on it, is there? I don't even think we can overtake him now. So,
4 points behind.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to have a look, but so we can't. We clearly can't overtake them. So, yeah, just one of them, mate. Just one of them, really, isn't it? Is that what you would have gone with, though, the 5 that we said originally?
I'd have said exactly the same thing, but maybe I'd have switched Anel and Holgate because Anel can get forward.
Yeah, it's not a bad shout. Not a bad shout, mate. Interesting. Interesting call.
I think one last thing is I watched the Plymouth game last night, and there is one man that we have to sign. It is Ballymumba.
Oh.
And I know you like Michael Cooper.
The man I've been banging the drum about for the last 18 months. But Ballymumba's a very good player. He
can play left back and right back. He's such a great player.
He's a centre midfielder by trade as well, isn't he? So he's very versatile, very good. I thought Whittaker's been quiet last couple of games, if I'm honest, for Plymouth. But Michael Cooper, that goalkeeper, he outs Skirvich right now. So I'm not going to get on that train tonight, but yeah, I would be a fan of that happening as well, I have to say. So thank you for your call, pal. Anything else you want to go over before I let you go?
No, I've got nothing else. Hopefully I'll see you in Triple Point next week.
Yes, I'll certainly be there, pal. So if you make one in, I'll see you there. Okay, buddy.
I will do. Right, see you
Thanks for
later.
your call, mate.
The Ramble.
See you still. Up the Ramble. Top man. Cheers, Ollie. Thanks for your call, mate. I'm going to get to Cam now. Cam, how's it going, pal?
Good. How about yourself?
Yes, I'm good, thank you. It's Aussie Cam, isn't it?
Yeah, that's all right.
Yes, I thought so, mate. So what time are you on there?
It's coming close to 1.
Oh, mate. I'm sorry I couldn't get you on earlier, but I tried to get you on, and when you hover over it, it tells me that I can't if you haven't got your mic or your camera switched on, or connected at least, so I couldn't pull you in. So I was conscious after making you wait so long last time. I wanted to get you in, but finally you're here, mate. What did you think to the game today?
Oh, it's a bit poor, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
I think I definitely zoned out for a second. In between passage of plays, but
yeah, I thought it were a bit dull, to be honest. I know Man Mountain sort of referred to it as a bit of a non-event of a game, really. Just going through the motions is how he described it, and I couldn't agree more. That's what it felt like. It just felt like we were just, starting a move. If it don't come off, fair enough. Get your shape back, and we'll defend and see if we can get it back again. There were no impetus, no urgency about it. We didn't look like a team fighting for our lives. We looked like a team, to me, that's already accepted our fate, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think, Trusty looked bad at the back. I think I was watching it here with my dad, and he was shouting like, there must be someone that can take his spot there.
Yeah, I know. And again, I'm loath to going too hard on him because he may well be okay next season, and we don't want to dig out our own players, but he has seriously been exposed at this level. There's no getting around it. You can't defend it, really. He can't defend, but you can't defend how poor he's been. And it's disappointing. It's really because it seems this. My dad will laugh at me for this because if he's a nice fella, but he seems like a really nice fella, and you want him to do really well. But as like one of my dad's things would be, well, if he's a nice fella, then you best play him every week, can't you? I'm not saying it because of that, but you're sort of willing him to do well because he tries, or he certainly looks like he tries, and then it just never. It just. I don't know. It's been disappointing, really. I think he's regressed as the season's gone on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, disappointing for me. Disappointing. Oh, give us a shining light from today then, Cam. In terms of, obviously we can all pick out a couple of poor performances, but what's the positive that comes out of this game today, if we can take any at all?
I think the positives, it's really one of those, pick it up and move with the pieces you've got. I definitely think Blaster, look, he's had a bit of a unlucky thing happen to him. He went on, like I think a few others that tried their best. Yeah. I was looking for McBurney a bit more with the headers. I noticed he had him in our box, but he couldn't do it when we were at the other side.
Yeah.
And that was a little frustrating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely, wear your heart on your sleeve,
Yeah. Did you agree with him as choice of captain today?
I think everyone should have a go at it eventually, Bottom of the table, you might as well give everyone a shot. But
yeah, I thought it were interesting. I'm not saying he didn't. I don't know how long you've been following us, mate, but my dad's not a fan of McBurney, and he makes it, well known. I've previously said I'd like him to. I think at certain stages he's shown captain-like qualities. It were interesting to me today because the easiest thing for Wilder to do would just give it back to Anel, because Anel's been the captain and Robinson came in and Robinson got the armband, but you give it back to Anel because Robinson's out, but he didn't. I think Anel played better without the armband. But yeah, we're interesting to see who. I don't really know who else you can, because I think we lack leaders as a squad, so I don't really know who else fits. So until you get that sort of figurehead, whether that be a strong centre half or a powerful midfielder that can sort of dictate. I think Blaster certainly shows qualities of it, but you can't give a Premier League armband to a 19-year-old
young
kid.
man,
But I mean, you can, but it's very risky. So I think it was one of the only choices we had today, to be honest. Maybe Holgate, if he'd have been a permanent signing, maybe Holgate, I think would have been a decent fit, but I didn't have any complaints. I just don't think it really gave him I don't think he had a great game at Burnley today, unfortunately. And sometimes you'd like to think the armband gives them a bit of a boost, like it appears to have done for Jack Robinson.
Yeah, I didn't get why Andre Brooks wasn't on as well.
No, me neither, mate. Me neither. It's a frustration of mine, really, because, and again, I trust Wilder to make the right decisions. He sees him every day in training. But I was shocked, and I'm not saying Larouci had a bad game, because I think a lot of people think he had a very good game. I thought he did okay.
Yeah, same.
I'd like to have seen Ozzy at left wing back and Brooks left centre mid. But I do understand not having two 19, 20-year-old kids in the middle in the Premier League away from home. So maybe that was the thought process. I'm not sure. It makes sense, but whether I agree with it or not. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, though, isn't it? So easy for us to say, I suppose. Anything else you want to talk about, mate, before I let you get off to bed?
No, do it. I definitely get a good night's sleep. bury this behind me.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Listen, next season it'll be totally different. We'll all have a good night's sleep, hopefully, a lot more often. But yeah, these are just things we have to get through, I think. But thank you for calling, mate. Very much appreciated.
No worries.
All right, buddy.
Yeah, up the blades.
Up the blades. Top man. See you soon. Nice one, Cam, calling all the way from Oz. Appreciate that. The Ramble is global. It's truly global. Spot on. Right, let's jump back into some comments. Kristen says, disappointed with the result today. No threat, no killer instinct when it mattered. Thought McAtee made midfield more unbalanced when he came on. Yeah, that's a fair point. I agree with that. Garbage can't be our number one next season. Big chance lost. Yeah, that's final chance gone in it. Surely. Nick says, at least I got a win on the Grand National. I am Maximus. Congratulations, pal, at 7-1. And then he sends us a very generous £20 super sticker. Well, thank you very much, Nick. That's very much appreciated. That's quite touching. Thank you, pal. We were in this game, just fell apart in the last 20 minutes again. Maybe a fitness issue. Yeah, fitness has been a problem for us all season. I think Wilder's said it, Ante, in a lot of his pressers recently. He wants us to be more robust. He wants us to be more resilient. And he wants us to go longer in games. He's going to be bringing in players that can last the full 90 and the rest. You know, we've played up to 105 minutes at times this season, and we just haven't been able to do it. And it's a disgrace, really, when you think about professional footballers. I understand the argument that when you're chasing the game, it tires you out a lot more, but it's no excuse not to be able to run for the required amount of time. Under Wilder previously, a lot of our success was our fitness. I think we were fitter than everybody on the field. George Baldock, Ender Stevens bombing up and down. Jack O'Connell, Basham, overlapping them. That we were in his prime, weren't we, in terms of fitness? Scotty loves it. Yeah, thank you, Nick. Really appreciate that, pal. Wilder's got to be staying. Yeah, he will, mate. Don't worry about that. I thought it was a terrible performance today, says Jack. Should have been a win today. What is happening with Macca? He seems to have dropped in performance. I think it's just a reality check that he's not going to be with us, mate, to be honest, next season. I think Wilder's maybe phasing him out a little bit. I don't think that's the only reason for his non-inclusion. I've said for a while with McAtee, and I get his qualities. I don't mean this to sort of dumb him down as a player. I don't think he fits us very well. He's a very good player. He fits in well with the squad in terms of, you know, the type of character we want around. But he's no Morgan Gibbs White or Illiman and Dye. And I know he's a different player, but he's a luxury player for me. He's a player that if you've got him in the Championship and you need that extra bit of flair to get 3 points rather than a draw, he's going to get you it. And in the Premier League, he's got us the odd goal. He scored the goal in the reverse fixture against Brentford that got us the 3 points. So maybe this is a moot point. But I think we need 11 warriors on the field. And I don't necessarily put him down as a warrior. I think he's a bit of a little magician at times. But we're not good enough. So we need more confidence and brute strength, in my opinion. Maybe I'm just old school. Substitutions were left huge holes at the back. Passing was very poor. Yeah, it was. Couldn't put a pass together today, says Jack. It's a shame since we've played so well. We have recently. We've played very well. The FX Autopilot says, I thought today we were very poor after some half-decent performances. Recently, we created nothing. Andy the Blades wearing his told you so face after that. I'm sure he is. I saw him this morning, but I haven't seen him or spoken to him since the game. But yes, you're absolutely right. I know he'll be saying that. Chuffing McBurney. Osborne and Holgate were solid today. I thought Osborne were okay. I thought Holgate did well. Just looked toothless up front. Slowly getting our United back up the blades. Up the Z? Maybe Ramble. Hamer and Blaster will be a force in the championship. I agree. I hope we can hold on to Hamer. I think we'll definitely hold on to Blaster. Holgate is growing on me. Good, I'm glad, because I really like Holgate. And I know he got some stick early doors, but I think he's going to be a good signing for us. Hopefully, if we can get him back next season. Nick, welcome to the Ramblers Club, pal. Thank you very much for your support. You'll now have access to our community page, which has got my number on it. If you want to jump in our WhatsApp group, good luck to you. It's an absolute minefield in there. A range of opinions, but it's absolutely brilliant. So thank you for your support and welcome to the team. We missed Robbo today, says Jack. That's fair. Totally, very disappointing today, says Tim, one of our elite ramblers. That was a chance we had to take. Yeah, we did. Tim, I know you are one of the more positive blades around me, and I love you for it because you are one of those that pick us up in these sort of difficult moments. But even now, surely Mr. Walker himself has accepted our fate. I don't mean to put you on a downer, mate, but maybe so. Egan, Robbo, and Holgate will be a solid back line. I agree. How do you fare our chances against Burnley? Before today, I thought very well. After today, I think it's probably a 50-50 game, to be honest, because they've had a bit of an uptick in form themselves, and I see today as a bit of a downer for us. And I think if we're without Robinson and Bogle, we might be a little bit unbalanced, certainly at the back, which never goes well for us. Hopefully Berriton Diaz has his shooting boots on because he didn't have them on today. Heard a rumour about Kemar Roof. I've heard a rumour about loads of players this week, to be honest, Andy. And I just mean rumours. I don't mean news that I've heard. And, this. Let me tell you about it. Kemar Roof, once upon a time, I thought he was a very good championship player. I think he's played about 65 games in, last 4 or 5 years. Always injured. Ryan Brewster vibes, unfortunately. I hate to sort of compare it to that. And I don't want to sort of do anybody down by sort of giving him a tag. But I think he's too injury prone for us. We can't take a risk on him. There were some other players we've been linked to this week. Berger at Stoke, and he scored today against Wednesday because Wilder went to watch him. There was a tweet flying around saying that Jamie Hoyland had been spotted. Somebody had spotted his notepad and he'd been looking at Jacob Greaves at Hull, the centre-back. There's been all sorts of names flying around. What I will tell you is get used to this. Get used to the rumours because there will be loads. And we'll talk about them all on here if you want. And I'll tell you whether I like them, whether I don't, whether I think there's legs to it, whether I don't think there aren't. So chuck your names at us over the next few weeks as we are looking to do a total squad rebuild as a club. And I'll let you know. I'll let you know if I know anything. I'll let you know if what I think, if you're interested. Little Showy, one of our newest ramblers. Welcome, pal. Evidently, Anel moved agents and put word out to move. I think so too. June's disappointed. Fair, me too. Give Gerbich the ball at his feet and it's a hot potato. You can see he isn't comfortable and his distribution is poor. Spot on. Agree with that entire comment. Well said, Dino. It wasn't bait, Jimmy. Just wanted to know what you think is wrong with our team, where the problems are, etc. I know, Nick. I was only playing with you, pal. I think you could make an argument for anywhere, couldn't you? In all fairness. So, yeah, I would never blindly defend Wilder and say he's got no portion of the blame because I think he'd stand up here himself and say, I'm accountable as well because I'm the leader. I'm a Premier League manager. That's what it said. We know Trustee is capable of a good season and has good physical attributes, says Great Bants. A season in a dominant championship team and Wilder tuition could see us have a very good defender on our hands potentially. That's exactly right. I'm certainly not writing him off, which is why I'm always conscious not to dig him out properly. I think it'd be unfair to do so. Very poor decision-making today. Didn't play as a team. Agreed. We look like a bunch of individuals today, didn't we? That's fair, sportsman. Half the squad is supposedly playing for a contract here or elsewhere. If they just give up because they're mardy about relegation, they'll struggle to get a contract at Red Lion FC. I think who would, if we were looking at these players in another side, how many of them would we want? For those that are out of contract, where's the fighting desire? They're in, is there? There isn't. They're not a team. Seen on Sky Sports News that Victor Johansson is going to be available for 750k. We need to be all over that before any other club. There's no chance, if that's true, because I've heard the same, between 750 and $1 million, there'll be loads of clubs after him. Loads of clubs. But I agree completely, Connor. We need to be in that queue because he doesn't have to move house. He gets championship football, hopefully high-level championship football with a chance of Premier League football. I think he's better than our current number one. I'd prefer Mike Cooper, but I think that is a deal we can't turn down at 750k to $1 million. Our blaster was super, says Blade Runner. He even tried to block the second goal. Yes, he did. A real Blade, 100% effort throughout. Gerbich can't kick at all. I agree. Distribution's awful. Shame about the result. Wasn't deserved. Osborne, great again. Yeah, a lot of praise for Osborne tonight. I thought he were okay. I don't think he were brilliant, but I think he were okay. That's fair. Just seen a stat. Trusty lost 10 duels today. Wow. That is frightening. We should go and get Cooper from Plymouth for next season. Holgate and maybe Philogene if possible. I like the first two. Philogene's well out of our price range, mate. I read some that they were asking for about 20 million. We won't pay anything near that for anybody. Hi, Jimmy. Good evening, pal. Brentford are the worst team I've seen this season. We didn't lay a glove on them. Why was Larouci subbed? Bigger changes than I first thought, both on and off the pitch. I think we wasted money on Gerbich. Should have stuck with Wes and got Johansson next season. Yeah, I think we might get Johansson anyway. We may well try for him, but we'll see. We also beat them at our place, so I don't think the bigger picture is affected too much by today's game, says Bill. I know, but it's hard in the cold light of a poor defeat. He's not good enough, though, is he? No, he's not. Robbo captain next year, got to protect Ollie. He's only 19. I'd drag him off after 60, 70 minutes. Right? I think he's done well holding his own. I understand what you mean. That's usually how you'd look after young players. But how is Osborne playing midfield in the Premier League? Seen enough of Gerbich, says Mogger, to know that he isn't a number one. Can't get down to save anything. Looks gormless. So that is someone that's not as keen on Ozzy, which, balances it out a little bit, but also joins the majority, in your opinion, pal, of Gerbich. Get rid of Gerbich, says Josh. I love Macca, but he's so weak. Always looking for a dive. I completely agree. I'm going to jump into some more callers now because time is ticking on, and I'm just about catching up to all comments. First, I'm going to bring Brian Dean, or is it Ols?
Hello.
Hey up, mate. How you doing?
Me. I'm finally here on time.
You're here, mate. On time.
Yeah.
I know you were waiting for me last time, weren't you? And we couldn't see you on the screen. So, how's it going?
Well, we had a very nice long chat off
we
of
did.
stream.
We did. It was nice to have a proper catch up with you.
It was much more entertaining than what I've had to watch today. I'll say that.
Thanks, mate. You got a few more. You got like Ramble After Dark, didn't you? A few choice words, I think, at one stage. So
yeah.
Apologies.
Very
for that.
naughty words, weren't it?
What did you think about today's game, mate?
Well, I think there was two good players today in a Blade shirt. Mason Holgate signed him next season. Everton won't want him, and Everton just let loads of good players go anyway, so it doesn't matter. And then never in my life did I think I'd say this, but Yasser Larouci.
Oh my word! Wow.
He actually played well. He pocketed Mbeumo as well. His pace helped us out so much. The amount of times he got to that ball before Mbeumo, and then I think him and Trusty don't work bad together, but that does not excuse how bad Austin Trusty was today. I tell you, why does he have a problem with every defender he touches in the corner when we have a corner, man? He's always touching him up, and then refs are having to blow and waste time for us.
I know. It was frustrating because I think in pockets today we're okay, Trusty. You were all right. And I think somebody came on earlier and said for the first like 60 minutes he were okay. He were okay, but he's still, like you said, he's not tight enough on his men at the corners. He gives away silly free kicks like around the edge of the box by sort of pushing his man when the man's between him and the ball. There's no sort of, well, Billy called it from a conversation with, I think, with Dave Leary. He doesn't read the game and what's happening. And it's at this level, you can't be caught out by that. You'll be seen as a weak link like that. It used to happen to us. It happened to us in COVID season when Jack Robinson took over from Jack O'Connell, left centre back. Everybody targeted Jack Robinson because they knew he was the weak link in the team. He were a lot worse player then, and I think he's come on a lot since then.
He'd end the season bad.
Yeah, absolutely. But they smell danger in the Premier League so quick, and they smell out of weakness, and they're on you. So if they've identified Larouci and Trusty, which it looked like they were coming down the right an awful lot, our left, then they're going to keep hammering it. And it looked like that were the tactic for a lot of the game. And
yeah,
like you said, Larouci did okay, to be honest. But Trusty, just looks a
how
little
did
bit out of his
Neil
depth.
Maupine miss that chance at first half, by the way?
Oh,
Do you know when Anel did that bad pass?
yeah, I do. Yeah.
Also,
did Anel let him?
Anel, I think out of possession, it were fine, but in possession, some of them passes what he made. And usually we praise him for when he has possession, because usually he's good with his passing and his dribbling, but today he weren't on it. None of the players were on it today. I tell you, I class that more as a 4-0 defeat than a 2-0 defeat. Because both the goals that we disallowed, they were meant to be disallowed, don't get me wrong. But Brentford deserved them goals. They really did. The way that they played, we were awful. Terrible.
Without doing a lot. Like Man Mountain was saying, they didn't do a lot to win the game.
Exactly.
They didn't have to do a lot to win the game. We've handed them at the game because we didn't match them. Yeah, it's really disappointing, mate.
And
really
that was the most boringest game of football I've ever watched as well. So bland.
It seemed to lack impetus, didn't it? It seemed to lack sort of.
It's not even the fact that we lost. It's just whether we lost or not. It was so boring, especially that first half. I think we only registered 2 shots on target in the entire game. One was a silly header, and the other one I don't even remember, to be honest. We're terrible. Diaz weren't on it at all.
So if you can keep one lone player then from this season, based on the fact, obviously we've got McAtee, but obviously he probably won't. But we're more likely to have the choice of keeping Holgate, Larouci if we want.
Are we talking? We're talking realistic or who we want or both?
Yeah, realistic. For who's in the current squad on loan, who would you have out of our loan players?
So we're not including
who would you prefer, Holgate or Larouci?
Holgate, obviously. Like I'm going to say Jasper Larouci. He's had about 45 minutes of decent football. The rest of the season has been awful.
I just think I thought that might be your answer, but left wing back is going to be a problem for us next year. We need
left wing back, yeah, definitely. I do agree, but Jasper Larouci isn't the answer to that. I don't think.
I agree. I think we go better in Championship.
I don't know.
I don't.
If we bought him, I'd loan him out. To be honest, I wouldn't put him straight in deep Championship. Yeah, I know. I'd put Trusty at left wing back. He's good in Championship. Like he got player of the year at Birmingham, didn't he? Something.
Yeah, playing at left centre half.
I'd say sell Anel, get some good money for that. Get some decent signing. Basically, we need to avoid any more point deductions to start because we don't want to become an Everton. Do we want to go back up. We don't want to be Bristol City and place 14th every season in Championships. I'd rather just be at National League, and then I'd just sell an L, renew a couple of contracts, buy a couple of. It's so simple. It sounds so simple, but it's not. It's really not, is it? It's so complex. Running a football club. Prince Abdullah, listen here. Sign Sammy Smodics. Get him in the midfield. We need Sammy Smodics. He is
we'll blow up transfer budget on
greatest
Sammy Smoddix. He is
Blackburn
he's
player
playing
of
well
all
this
time.
season. There.
Get
I'm
Ben
gonna have to-
Barrett and Diaz. Renew
Dino.
Ollie McBurney's contract. So simple.
Right,
So
I'm sure that's on the agenda now. You've said that. Nice one, all much appreciated, pal. Or Brian Dean, whoever you are, and I'll catch up with you soon.
Yeah, to be honest, I decided to stick with Brian Dean because you said you didn't like him last time. Trying to get under your skin.
I can't believe I said that. Would I say that?
I'll see you later, Jeremy.
See you, mate.
Up the blades, up the ramble.
I don't know what he means. I don't know what he means by that. Might be something to do with him being a Leeds fan. I didn't like the fact that he were a Leeds fan. I'm inviting our last caller on today. So no more callers after this, please, just so we can get done in time. But Dan, new caller, how's it going, pal?
You all right, Jimmy, pal?
I'm okay, mate. I'm okay. I'm lying, but I'm trying to be okay. How are you?
I'd be a lot better if we'd won today, but I've been to a lot of games this season. Today seemed to just it wore out. Everyone just wore out of energy, everything like that. And I agree with a lot of people when they said Wilder should have come back in. Right?
Yeah.
But my problem with Wilder is the tactics when he goes around it. Now I understand that we're fighting for his lives in Premier League.
Yeah.
I've got no problem with that. But my point is, why are we going so defensive? Right? Why are we trying to hold in games? Brentford today didn't seem like we went for it in first half when we should have.
I found that, mate. I found that he tries, and it's been a Wilder tactic for a while. We talk about it in our group a little bit, that he'll try and hold the first half. He'll try and keep it square and try and keep it, try not negatively impact the game, but he'll try and keep it 0-0 till half time, and then maybe turn burners on a little bit second half. But why not just go for it? Why not get 1 or 2 up if we can? If they're there for taking, why aren't we just going for it and piling on?
I totally agree. I totally agree. It's there. You look at their form lately, right? And we need to, when it comes to, when we approach the Championship next season, which we're bound for, which I've accepted since earlier part of the season. I've been to Arsenal away. I've been to near enough every single away game we've been to. And I'm a season ticket holder, and I see the same stuff every game. I'm sorry, I were trying not to swear.
No,
but
thank you.
I've seen the same stuff every single game, whether it's Trusty on the Hodzic this year, right? He should have been gone in January. Let's face facts. I'm just trying to be truthful from my point of view, right? But Hodzic should have gone because he's not committed to the cause. And I understand what people say about Wilder. He'll get hard-working people in. And I remember I've been through it with us from League One all the way going up to Premier League, back to being relegated. My point, I think we need a different philosophy. We need a different way of the mentality of the club. So when people say we need hard-working people, I agree. But we also need people that have a technical ability. And everyone can say, you can chuck Harmer in there, you can chuck this person in there, you can chuck that person in there, right? But if you chuck a load of individuals into a team, what does it make? It doesn't make a team.
And it's frustrating because next season we're going to go down and we'll have more of the ball and we'll be a much more attacking side and we'll look better for it. And we'll be saying, why couldn't we do this last year? Why couldn't we just be a little bit braver? And I understand you can sometimes go to grounds and get absolutely mullered. If we went to Man City and tried to go on attack, then we'd probably get done 4, 5, 6. So that might be a game where you go a little bit more defensive. But when you go into Brentford, you've nothing to lose because we're going down anyway. If we get a surprise win, then, maybe there's a glimmer of hope that if we beat Burnley, then something might happen. Why aren't we just going for it? Why aren't we going for it? I don't understand it. At this stage of the season, there's naught to lose, is there?
There's nothing to lose. There's literally nothing to lose. We can go out for every game. We could lose every game. What's the difference to the other 20 odd games or 30 games that we've already been involved in? Right? So we've got to think how we're going to go about this next season. Let's not. Everyone might want to keep their hopes up that we're going to stay up and stuff like this. From what we've seen this season, not good enough. We're not going to stop up. Right? So now, how are we going to go into this next season? How are we going to progress this team? We tried it with Slavica Jokanovic when we came back down from Premier League. Didn't work. Understood. But does it mean necessarily that Wilder's got the right ideas? Does he want to build? He needs to give us these answers. Does he want to build an all-working team, or does he want to try and progress what he's already done? Because what he already did when that first season in Premier League, we were brilliant.
Yeah,
no one can argue with that.
We attacked it.
Yeah. And then second season, we kind of, he can put it down to fans and stuff like this, but he should, as a Blade, as I would, should have that hunger inside him to make sure that he's getting better. But if you notice, people like Lundstrom, right, we're just running down the contracts. Everybody wants to run down them contracts, and I don't blame it on... Listen, Prince Abdullah has been one of the best owners we've had, and I won't swap him for anyone, right? And anyone can disagree with me with that. But do I think he's good enough to take us to the next level? No, definitely not. But where he's got us to has been decent enough, right? So next season, we need to try and look, I think, at someone like probably Liam Rossini. I've watched a lot of role football this season, and they've played well in bits and stuff like that. Might not work. Everything might not work. But what about if Wilder don't work? That's what I'd ask to everyone else.
Interesting.
What about if it don't work in the first 4 or 5 months, like Slavica Jokanovic, right? Do we just chuck and get rid?
If we're mid to lower table next season after 20 games, we've got to relook at it, haven't we? I think Wilder would expect us to relook at it at that stage. So,
100%.
Thank you
very much, Jimmy. Thank you, pal.
No worries, mate. Nice to speak to you. Don't let it be your last call. All right, I'll speak to you soon.
It won't be. Cheers, pal.
Cheers, pal.
Bye-bye.
See you soon.
Bye.
Nice one, Dan. First time caller. Don't be a stranger if you haven't called in yourself before. I think he raises some really interesting points, questioning whether Wilder's going to be the man next season. Have we been too cautious this season under Wilder by trying to shut up shop a little bit for the first half of a game and then go for it? Maybe so. Maybe so. I'm going to try and finish your comments. I've got 7 minutes to get through everybody's comments. So people seem to think, says Little Shoy, that the championship will be easier. Personally, I don't think it's a done deal. I don't think we'll bounce straight back like that. It's a huge summer in front of us. Look at the struggle taking place now. Just a thought. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. We can see a positive. Maka was our best player at one point. If he wasn't on the pitch, we'd be poor. Players are clearly stepping up, says Jack. That is a great point to make, to be fair. Just got to win Burnley. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. What's happened to Trusty? So solid at the start. I know, Jack. I know it's disappointing, isn't it? Okay, first half. Out of sorts, second. Poor choice of passes, says Dublin Blade. McBurney for first goal. Pass it, we score. He went for glory and straight up the other end and scored. I know. Standard, and Billy agrees. It's classic Blades, isn't it? Classic Blades. Do we stick with Wilder? Dan says maybe not. Gary's obviously questioning it too. I say definitely we stick with Wilder. Definitely. You can't keep chopping and changing. You can't. And if, like Dan did, if you're not going to stick with Wilder, you need to offer a better solution. Who else are you going to go for? Don't be expecting us to change manager, because I certainly don't. Brentford have gone 9 games without a win. Upset the Blades, and that record's broken at a stroll. It was, wasn't it? It's so disappointing. I think we're in danger of falling in love with loan players. Holgate won't stay. We can't afford his wages. I think I've been speaking to a couple of people about this, not at the club, but just in case, in terms of whether it's a possibility. If you think about it from Holgate's point of view, he's on 75 grand a week at Everton with 1 year left. He's never going to get that deal again. He's never going to get that. If we can give him 30 grand a week on a 3-year deal, is it worth it, with bonus incentives for promotion and stuff? Is it worth him thinking about? I think it probably is. Even if we can't work that out, do we get him on loan to buy or something like that, or a loan deal for next season and an agreement to sign him permanently on a similar type of contract, but we'll pay half of his wages next season and Everton pay the other half? And if that's the case, they'll probably want to get rid of him anyway, won't they? Just like to add on the fantastic away support today. All the safe travels back home, up the Blades, up the Ramble, up the away day Blades. Absolutely brilliant, all year. I've got to admit, we play a lot of games defensively, says Nick. We are getting relegated. Just smash the attack. Absolutely right. Yeah, get beat 3-1 rather than, 1-0. Trusty not good enough. Larouci wouldn't put the shirt on again for me. Wow. Love to keep Maka, but to be honest, we could do with keeping Holgate over them all. I agree. I think we'll try. Whether we do or not, I'm not sure. Totally agree, Jim. If we played as well as we did last week, we beat these today because they were poor. Completely agree. Rob, should have put me on, Jimmy. Rob, if you'd have called, mate, you'd have been more than welcome. I didn't see you waiting if you were, so apologies. Can definitely have a catch-up next time. Prince has been open and said he can't invest in the club. Can't hold that against the man. He also didn't sell us to a con man just to get out, so he must have some love over the club. Yeah, I think it's come close a couple of times, hasn't it, to be fair, in terms of who he's sold us to. But I genuinely believe there wasn't any intent to do the club any harm. Jeff Paul says I'd swap him for anyone with a few billion. That's in response to Dan saying he wouldn't swap him for anyone. I think Dan would too, to be fair. Nothing less than a win at Burnley, Forest and Everton for me. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Well, yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? But it's not looking likely. Only one derby next season with Leeds because Leeds are falling apart again. Oh, mate. I still think Wendy's might get out of it. I hate to say it. I want to be wrong. Wilder took off our best player. Who would... Larouci? Arblaster were our best player. I know you were unfortunate and maybe not as standout today, but you can't say Larouci's our best player. Once he went off no pace on that side, they just ran through us. Can't argue with that, to be fair. Wilder got it wrong. But also, no doubt, I haven't heard the interview yet, but no doubt it will be linked to his fitness because he hasn't played a lot of football. They'll have monitored him and said he's run out of gas or something. Neil says, we may be playing more like a Blades team and fight, but quality will always win. And what we don't have, nor will we till we get a new owner. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Get Smodics, no chance. Cooper, love that. Cash in, no chance because they're coming up and he's just signed a new deal. Holgate, hopefully. Brereton Diaz, no chance. And sell Vinny and Anel for big money. Yeah, I'd like the realistic ones to happen. My brother and granddad love Wilder. They think he's the answer. What about you? Same. I'm in that club. And I'm a card-carrying member of the Chris Wilder fan club. And I make no shame about it. What that man did for us, he's to say he's got stock with me is a massive understatement. Not just because of the journey he took us on, but, where I was at that time. And there probably wouldn't be a Ramble without Chris Wilder, if I'm honest. Nick, unbelievable. Thank you so much for your generosity. You don't have to keep chucking money. I'm not going to stop you, but thank you very much, mate. Very much appreciated. Very kind. And he says, thanks, Jimmy. Great Ramble. What a very kind gesture. Thank you, mate. And welcome to the team. Pigs have the hardest running in the bottom three. Blackburn, Sunderland and West Brom. Blackburn and Sunderland are very patchy though, aren't they? And West Brom may be comfortable in the playoffs by then. So do the rest players. I'm not comfortable with it, Scotty. I'm not, mate. Yasser Larouci is one of our own. That's not what we sing. We sing Yasser Larouci, but I need a certain song. Yasser Larouci. CW says Yasser was good first half and Bogle has same injury as Jackie Longthrow. Oh, brilliant. Bogle's season looks to be over. Oh, God. Do we keep him? Well, if he's got an extension, then yes, we do. But the question is, do we sell him? to avoid another Illiman-Sander situation, or Lundstrom situation, probably more accurate. Deary me. I missed the first Prem season, sadly, when we did really well. Mike Cooper was outstanding last night, Jimmy. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. You know, that sometimes I'm going to go now because we've hit 90 minutes, but I always sort of harken back to being on the internet. Everything's there. Everything's there for, you know, my bad takes, of which there are many. And sort of when you sort of flip on your opinion and you have to backtrack, I've been there dancing with a dozen my boozy flags. So everything is there. But also in the odd occasion where I've been right, and it is quite rare at times. Mike Cooper, we have been banging the drum about Michael Cooper for 18 months now. And finally, it's one that looks like people are finally coming around to the realization that he's, you know, I want a scout. So hopefully there's something there. Isn't it funny how there's only 8 minutes when we're losing, but when we win, it's 14. I expected it to be a lot lower, to be honest. Were it 5 other day? Ridiculous. We're going into stoppage time. Yeah, that could be anything. We're not. It's because people keep commenting and I don't want to be rude. Yasser Larouche, he's all on his own. Last one. CW said that Jimmy from Blades Ramble is getting on his nerves and he's told PA to get Cooper. That'll do me. Just keep prodding and prodding till they do as we ask. It seems to work with my wife a lot of times, so hopefully it works with Prince Abdullah and Chris Wilder as well. And on that bombshell, thank you for cheering me up tonight. Thank you for joining me for another 90 minutes of Sheffield United post-game talk. Very much appreciated. I love sort of turning my mood around with you a lot. It's very much appreciated. If you're not already and you like what we do, please consider liking and subscribing. We are very close to that 4,000 figure. It's one of them that irritating because we're so close, but it's not quite getting over the line. Thank you so much. Special shout out to Nick for his kind contributions tonight. Hopefully, next season we will be in there. We're starting work on that very shortly. It's very exciting. Stick with the Ramble to find out what happens with that. But for now, come on, you red and white wizards. Up the blade. Ramble on.